congratulations. This is an incredible film, an incredible world building. How did it begin?
But how did it begin?
How did it begin?
Long time ago.
Oh my gosh, I can still remember. Sorry, it was like a American Pie reference, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That's good. Wow, you guys are really digging up the oldies. That's fine. That's fine. It's a great song. Yeah, no, it happened a long time ago where I saw a little movie. There was a movie, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Star Wars. It was, you'll see, you can check it out. It really, I was 11 years old. I saw this crazy space movie, and I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to do that, whatever that is. And I think that it's kind of like, it's kind of like been this dream of like making my own version of that, I've had for a long time. And I think that Netflix have been an amazing partner. And I finished Army of the Dead, and they said, what do you want to do now? And I was like, well, I have this like sci-fi epic kind of knocking around if you guys are interested. And they were like, that sounds cool. And so they were really kind to do that. And also the partnership immediately was, they trusted me, and they really cultivated our creative, the force, and the sheer like will to make this thing was great, because you have to start from scratch, and you have to create all these worlds and all this mythology, and it's been a labor of love, but really exciting. Now we're here, and it's pretty exciting.
How do we know that we are on the right side of history, in your opinion?
It's a difficult thing to know, because all we have is our own point of view, and so it's hard to be empathetic. But I think that's the main thing. Empathy is the way of understanding like how others feel, and I think that if you can generate some empathy, I think our heroes have that ability, hopefully, and we all can learn from that.
So do you think that kindness is a virtue worth dying for?
I do.
I believe that too, wholeheartedly.
I do.
But I think what's really interesting is all of these characters are really on a journey that maybe they weren't always on the right side, but I feel like it's never too late to have redemption. And I feel like that's what we learn throughout the film and as they go on these journeys.
Do you think that sci-fi can be the best way to analyze our reality, more than a documentary sometimes?
Yeah, I feel like sci-fi, like, for me, I wrote this movie 2 years ago, and when you write a sci-fi film, it's almost like you abstract reality, our own reality, and this movie especially, I really based, because it has no relationship to Earth. It actually has a greater relationship to Earth, because by abstracting, the worlds, you sort of get at the essence of all the things that we are anyway, and I think that was a fun exercise, and a thing that you don't really analyze it that much in the process, but in retrospect, you're like, oh my God, it's like I've really like taken the whole thing apart.
Why does Rebel Moon exist? Why was it something that you wanted to pour so much time and lore
I think
into?
that it's one of those ideas that was really tenacious, and I would have it. It was always to the side, you know what I mean? It was always this idea that like when I was busy with something else and it was bogging me down, I'd be like, I'm gonna go work on my sci-fi thing that I'll never make. And but at least it was like a respite. I would always go there and I would draw and I would like think about it, and I would like work on some super small detailed aspect of the world. And then, I think that it was that kind of persistence that like, when I have this window now, I was like, you know what, like let's give it a shot. So I think I owe it, it owes its like existence to its probably tenacity.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!